Hi all, Jamie Jessica Martin here, Team Principal of Prismatic Motorsports, and of course one of the 4 board members of Prismatic Motorsports LLC. I just wanted to make a video, and hopefully I'm going to try and do this after every single race in this amazing series, because honestly, I think I have to share my gratitude and some of my thoughts about this race, and just how proud it makes me, and how happy it makes me. Of course, Prismatic Motorsports was started in 2021 in March. It was started off of a Reddit post from myself asking if a bunch of people were interested in sim racing and might want to befriend and be friends and talk about it and have a chill space to talk about it. A few of us joined up and we said, "Hell yeah, let's go for it." Now we're coming up towards our 3rd year, and we've taken our team to new heights. We've given our team an identity that is so unique in esports and in sim racing that we really are just baffled by the amount of growth that we have had. And this event is a massive milestone in our history. Of course, as we know, we hit one milestone when we ended up having Christina Ryan make the eNASCAR College Series, and not only that, but she's qualified for every single race, including the upcoming one. So, you know, we've had success on the NA side of the esports sphere, but we've been waiting for our shot in the EU, and we finally got it. The ROKiT British F4 eSports Championship finally came together after a long, hard couple of weeks of organising, fundraising and sorting everything out, and we finally got to see the rewards of so much hard work put in by so many different people. And I guess I wanted to talk about it mostly. So to start off with, race 1 was kind of a learning curve for us, of course, at Prismatic. It was our ability to get stuck in. We've never raced against this level of talent before, in terms of teams. Of course, we've raced talent. Christina Ryan has raced incredible Coca-Cola eNASCAR talent in the college series, but as a team, we've never faced a team's championship quite like this. Of course, real-life teams like Arden International, who have brought so many drivers into the top echelons in real-life Formula racing, more specifically, one that will be on the Formula 1 grid next year in Oscar Piastri. And honestly, we've got other teams like JHR Developments, of course, the current reigning British F4 champions. You've got other teams that are absolute top tier of the sim racing sphere. Of course, you have Apex Racing, racing team. You have Team Fordzilla. And though they might be relatively new to the scene, Munster Rugby Gaming, who are supported by the lovely folks over at Williams eSports. And to me, being even in the same race as any of those names, any of those drivers affiliated, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. And it really is a surprise. But race 1 was definitely feeling that out. And we had some, maybe not so much good luck, but you know what? It's a benchmark. It was a point that we could just lay down our gauntlet, say, you know what? Let's use this race to understand what the field is like, what the racecraft is going to be like, and let's see what we can do. And of course, Mira did DNF in the race, Mira Schmidt. It was really, you know, disheartening and really kind of sad, because I know how much Mira was putting into it, and she put in a ton of work to, you know, to get to this level. And I'm so glad that there was a race 2, because it really did make things so much better. But yeah, race 1, of course, a DNF incidents around turn 1 and lap 1. I think it was turn 1, turn 2, lap 1, and then an incident at the final corner on lap 3 kind of terminally damaged the car, and it meant that Mira had to be one of the first retirements of the race. And it was a massive shame, because I felt Mira could do so much, and she was really downtrodden and disappointed with herself. And I mean, I didn't think she should be, but I know she's a competitor, and so it really got to her, and it really pumped her up and really riled her up to go for the next race and just give it her all. Of course, we had Azzy Iredale in the other car, and let's just say Azzy has not had as much time training as we really and she really would have liked. She was limited because of other events and outside responsibilities. She was also limited by illness this week, so really didn't get as much time in the car as she really wanted to. But she soldiered on, really, and got in the car. She started putting some really great laps while also learning the iRacing physics, because she's traditionally part of the F1 sim racing sphere. And I tell you what, she did a fantastic job race 1, considering that a lot of those drivers are genuinely incredibly fast at iRacing and are just absolutely incredible sim racers. Azzy did absolutely everything necessary to set a benchmark for herself for continued growth, and you could definitely see her slowly getting into the groove of the car. So I hope in the next coming weeks she can get the time she really wants in practice, in test sessions, and we're going to help facilitate her with that. In the end, she finished in P17, which I think was pretty respectable considering the circumstances, and it was a benchmark for us race 1. We came back in race 2 and we felt we could do so much more. Of course, both of our drivers starting towards the back of the grid. Azzy starting in P17 and Mira starting right at the back of the grid after her retirement in race 1. I don't know what happened. It all seems like a blur to me, but Mira Schmidt, with a drive of a champion. I don't know how she did it. I still can't comprehend how she did it, but she gained 12 places. 12. And that there is just... It still baffles me. It still gets me on so many different levels. Her driving was incredible. She kept ahead on the road. She did so much hard work. She kept pace with other drivers. And in the end, she showed up. Big time. P7, our first ever points, places her in a fantastic position going into round 2. Unbelievable. Azzy started to get a grip of the car. Unfortunately, got caught up in an incident that wasn't her fault. And because of that, yeah, ended up in a position where she had some damage to the car and she was nursing that car, but she kept it respectable. She kept it consistent. And in the end, it turns out it worked for her. She managed to keep everything together and she managed to make up a position right at the very end, taking her up to P18. So, you know what? Incredibly proud of everything they have given and everything that Azzy has given to this, this effort. And it's unbelievable we're here. Points in our first ever race of this caliber, in our first ever round event of this caliber, is just absolutely unbelievable. Of course, I want to say a huge thank you to a number of people. Huge thank you to everyone that has supported us on social media, who has been part of our community, and also just everyone who has given everything to show their support for what we represent. The ability, essentially the push to help give opportunities and to also highlight the best of the best when it comes to trans and non-binary people in esports, and also providing a community space where we can continue fostering a lot more of those, a lot more of that growth. I want to say, of course, the biggest thank yous for this event, of course, to the rest of the board of directors, to Robin Smith, who spent countless hours working with different sponsors to ensure we had the funds in place and working out on the finances. Of course, to Judy, who did so much work without her tools. She managed to get Photoshop on Robin's computer, and managed to get everything done. She didn't have her tools in hand, and I tell you what, it's unbelievable that she's managed to get so much of the assets done to help me be able to put it together and finish it to be able for today's event. And of course to Emily, who has provided setup, support, and provided the race direction and the race engineering for Mira Schmidt. Absolutely just calm, cool presence in the car that has so much understanding about the physics of the car. Wouldn't be anything without her. For sure, we certainly wouldn't have had the level of success that we've had in other series, but including this one too. And of course, to Roxy Gibson, who stepped in very short notice, managed to be a cool, calm and collected presence for Azzy, and was able to bounce off her, and they had a really good time, and it was great hearing them getting stuck in and really working well together. And I hope that that Roxy continues to bring out the best in Azzy, because Azzy has so much more to give. Trust me, keep an eye on her. And I, of course, want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, ultimately the people that have made this possible. Of course, and our partners, our sponsors being, of course, Certifiably Diverse, incredible organisation that's provided us predominantly most of our funding over our first year and a half of sim racing, and has allowed us to make it to this level. Of course, I want to say a huge thank you to our new sponsor, Arrow Broadcast Network, who has helped provide additional financial support, which really got us over the line when it came to this event, and ensure that we still have the finances in place to be able to enter this event and also support our drivers in other series. I want to, of course, say a huge thank you to our partners, of course, Maconi Setup Shop, who provided the baselines for the setups that Emily was able to use to save a ton of time and to really be able to use that to push our drivers to the best. I mean, quite simply, if you have some really good baseline setups that we can use, honestly, makes our lives so much easier, and it really has helped. Of course, Agent Ink Apparel, who have helped us with our merchandise, our new merchandise. Make sure you check out our store on the Agent Ink website, agentink.gg. They, of course, have helped us with our referral code. So whenever you use our referral link that we will keep posting on our social media, we get a 10% cut of that amount. And that just means for us, that continues to put money back into the team and allows for us to continue doing and achieving what we're achieving. And of course, I want to say a huge thank you to our legacy sponsors. Of course, Go for the Gap and Kadan Computers. Without Go for the Gap, it was our, Cami and Go for the Gap were our first sponsor. She has been a massive supporter and helped financially contribute to this entry fee as well, and of course allowing us to run with Mira, who is part of her race team as well. So thank you so much, Cami and Go for the Gap and Kadan Computers. Without Dan providing us with stuff like streaming equipment and setups, we certainly probably wouldn't have had the baseline for year one that has helped us really build towards getting to this point and building the legitimacy we need. And we want to say a huge thank you to all of you, because without you, we certainly wouldn't be in this position that we're in. That's it, really, from me. Race 1 is in the books. Round 1, sorry, is in the books. Race 1 and 2 are over. Prismatic, rough start initially. Race 2 blows my mind out the water. We'll be back very soon with Donington Park, and of course, keep an eye out as Christina Ryan will continue to be running in the eNASCAR College Series. Absolutely continuing to fly. We should also be competing in the WSRL Endurance Series as well. That's a race that is immediately coming up. And of course, keep an eye out for the other events on our social media that we're entered in, because we're definitely going to be doing a lot more of them. Make sure you follow us on our Twitter page at Pris Motorsports. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook. That is also Prismatic Motorsports. And if you haven't done so, just keep with us. Keep following us on all our platforms, because we really want to keep going. This is only the beginning for us. And it's only going to keep getting better from here. I hope everyone has a good evening, and I'll speak to you soon.